Hi, so recently I've been putting a course together about the Delta Blues. I call it the Electric Delta Blues. I'm really passionate about mixing the sort of older, Robert Johnson type 1920s, going all the way up to the Three Kings of the late 50s and 60s, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, and the like, and trying to put those styles together because they're all the sounds that I love. So I put this course together so that basically I can take someone from what is quite a beginner stage all the way through to being able to play, really anything you want in that style. Now, what I wanted to do today was give you a sort of taster. The course is over on my Patreon, and I've only just started the course. There's 4 or 5 lessons up already, but this lesson is going to be for free for anyone. So it'll be on the Patreon, and I'll keep it here on YouTube. Now, if you go over to Patreon, there will be a tab just for a couple of bars worth of what I was playing, just to get you started and so you can see, what style of teaching I might give you. But I thought I'd just take you through that really quickly. Before I do that, the course is set up so that a complete beginner and an intermediate can follow along at the same time. So what I'm doing is alternating a beginner class, and when I say beginner, I really mean quite beginner. I mean, you've picked up a guitar before, and you've probably played around quite a lot, and maybe you're comfortable with open chords and various other things. But in this style, there's some things that I need to sort of show you so that I can make sure we're all on the same page. So the first lesson, for example, is about alternate picking with a plectrum, because when we get later in the course, you're going to need that to do what we're doing. Another lesson is just about learning the E blues scale in 5 different positions. And I give you a tab for that so you can see what the 5 positions are, because a later lesson will talk about how we join all the scale positions together. So I need to make sure that you can do that. And in between all of those sort of more basic lessons, I'll be doing licks, blues licks that I like for more intermediate players. So you've got something to do whilst you get to the point where the sort of other lessons catch up to you. For example, one of the next lessons will be about right hand technique, using this sort of old pinching style. Now, it's not that difficult to pick up, but there's a couple of things to think about when you're doing it, and so there'll be a lesson on that. So if you want to follow along the course, the Patreon link is in the description, and I guess like most people, I don't really enjoy selling myself, so I thought I'd put this free lesson out there and just give you an idea of what you can expect. So let's go for it. Okay, so we're going to be in the key of E, like a lot of this course, to begin with at least, is going to be in the key of E, and we're in the open position. And what I'm doing here is what's a really sort of classic blues intro, and it's sliding up into partial E7 chord, which is your 4th fret of the G string and your 3rd fret of the B string. Now, what's important here is the sort of rhythmical aspect of it, and to me, also palm muting that lower string, because otherwise, as you keep doing it, that lower string overtakes. Now what I would do is palm mute the lower string but not the upper strings, and that sort of droning low E or A is going to become a part of what we do later on. And I think by palm muting it, you're going to keep things sounding just a bit more clear. Now, sometimes you'll purposely not palm mute it to give an effect, and that's also part of what we're going to be learning is, there's no strict rules about any of this. There's some guidance I go by, and you then mix and match it together. So, okay. We've got this sort of light brushing movement with this finger, which is something really common in this type of blues. You can use the middle finger or the pointer finger, the index finger. The key thing is to not palm mute those strings by accident and to make them clear. Okay, and then we're sliding down after we've done 3 of those triplets. Sliding down from the 4th fret of the 3rd string to the 2nd fret. Now you can also hit the low string palm muted again. Okay, and when you slide down, you pull off. Okay, and then we're hitting the 2nd fret of the D string, which is the E, and we're hitting the low E at the same time. In this sort of blues pattern, you do want to come back to that root note quite often. It really sort of hits home, you know, it makes it feel like comfortable and something you expect, and yet it's satisfying. That's how I find it anyway. So then I'm moving into the A chord. Now, in this type of blues, I would often just play the E over and over and over again, right? When they were playing this back then, they didn't generally always move to another chord. So in this particular example, I am, just because this progression is more, I guess, more what we're used to now. But you don't have to, okay? But like in that second bar, we're moving to an A. So now, the tab that you've got doesn't show too much complexity. It's just to get you started. But when we go into the course, there's so many ways you can go. Going to be a lot of different call and answer rhythm patterns we can do. There's going to be all sorts of licks that I love doing in between those. I think the main thing to keep in mind is that just to get started in it, the reason there's quite a few sort of theory or technical lessons, I should say, that might seem quite basic is because you just need to know them. So, you know, someone had to show me, and otherwise I find that if I tell people, if I teach you everything in one go, the licks, the rhythm, the techniques, it's just too much. So this is how I would teach it when I do a private lesson. I would start by teaching right hand technique. Then I would start with a bit more theory about the E blues scale and chord position. Then I'd go into some licks and stuff. So that's how the course will be. This isn't a full lesson. This is just a little taster so you can see the sort of thing, the camera positions, and basically whether you could stand to listen to me for the next however long you might be on the course for. So yeah, I'm really excited about this, and I've been wanting to sort of put this together for a long time. So I've got a lot of thoughts and ideas about where it's going to go to. I just hope you'll come along for the ride. And if you don't normally watch my channel and you're new to it, I do a lot of gear related stuff on the YouTube channel, and then the Patreon is going to be for the teaching stuff. And that way I can put more time into the teaching, make tabs, and you know, over time the tabs will get longer, you know, 2 bars, 4 bars, 8 bars, and then full progressions, so that you can go away from a lesson feeling like you've actually got a whole piece that you can sit and play for a couple of weeks to get good at it. Yeah, let me know down in the comments what sort of things you'd like me to cover. I've got about 20 lessons planned already, so you know, I'm always happy though to look for what exactly people are asking me. I'll put a link down below. Just let me know if you've got any questions before you join up, and I'm happy to answer them. All right, thank you very much for watching. Cheers.